And hold on, I'm going to share
No worries.
the correct screen. There we go.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. Welcome to our monthly meeting. And this one, we are co-sponsored today. I love the third Thursdays because we are co-sponsored with the network of Rotary Eco Environment and Green Clubs. And Luca Marchesi is here to lead us with them. And the Rotary Earth Network Club. So we want to thank all our members and our associates, our donors, all our volunteers. You can consider joining either club. We can put up Luca's information. You can put your stuff in the chat for joining your club. I know Najodi will put our information in too. We do ask you to please mute your audio when you're not speaking. Feel free to turn off your camera during the time to reduce our carbon footprint if you want. Turn your camera back on if you want for the question and answer time. You don't ever have to have it on other than thank you very much for your patience with the picture just now. I appreciate that, turning your camera on. Recordings and resources will be available on the Earth Talks Foundation and the Earth Network Rotary Club websites, and I believe probably on LinkedIn with Luca's group. And then speaker views are their own. We have to do that disclaimer. Some Zoom, although we usually very much agree with our speakers. And some Zoom features are limited for safety. We had a Zoom bombing incident once, so please contact a host if you need any help. And today we're going to have Bertel and
Fidel.
yes, are going to be doing our rotary four-way test. So go ahead, you two.
Are the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth?
Is the
First,
environment is the environmental information accurate, science-based, and transparent?
is it fair to all concerned?
Does it protect people, ecosystems, and future generations?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Does it encourage collaboration, shared responsibility, and community trust?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Does it improve environmental health, human well-being, and long-term sustainability?
Thank you to our folks from Philippines here. Thank you, you two. Go
And
ahead.
we know that not everyone has great hearing. I'm one of those people. And we speak different languages, which is great. So you can, on your phone or your laptop, whatever you're using, or your pad, go to show captions, choose the language that you enjoy most, and just press the button, and you'll be able to see the captions on the bottom of your screen.
Thank you so much. Okay, for
Thank
just
you.
a minute, Luca, I'm going to spotlight you and Mario. There you go.
Great.
All
Thank you,
right.
Karin.
You bet.
Okay, together with Mario, we have an announcement to do because also this year we have decided to organize an in-person meeting of the network of eco-environmental and green clubs. Mario's club, the Rotary Club in Cagliari, in Sardinia, has decided to volunteer for that. And they are organizing a fantastic weekend in October for everyone that wants to participate. Mario, do you want me to launch your video?
Look, I can't share it very easily. Can you share your video, please?
Yeah, okay.
Uh,
Can you see it?
Okay, yes, I do. So together with Luca, we're talking about the possibility of seeing each other, all of you, of course, and many others, if it's possible.
Inclusa la
If it is
classe
possible.
imprenditoriale di quelli che possono essere.
in Cagliari. Basically, what the reason why we would like to meet as many people as they can come is that we would like to start connecting us for, let's say, proposing and starting some projects which can make an impact. This means on something like a two-way possibilities. One is to replicate projects that work in some of your clubs, and the other is to join our forces for some good impact project. So basically, this will be mm, uh, Luca, can you send the video? Can you? It is a video.
It
Luca,
is, I
è
think
un
it's going
video.
already.
Uh,
Now
I
you'll need to
see
press the
just
play button at the
an
bottom
image
left.
and not a video. Can you play it? Okay. Oh,
I am
it has gone far away. But basically, I tell you what we are thinking about is this will be a sort of networking event in the sense that the project is to cover most of the basic items of eco clubs like environmental sustainability, water, and sanitation, and let's say circular economy, and so on. You're seeing on the on the screen something of my some image of my town, but actually before you can see all the subjects, I will send you all. Karin, if you want, I'll send you a copy of this
Yes.
video, and then we may diffuse it if you want by the through the network. Oh, this is something better. You see what Luca, puoi bloccarlo? Thank you. So you see what we are going to have a series of networking event, which is promoting funding opportunities for eco projects, building peace through environmental sustainability, project sharing with communities and partners, structural partnership promotion, sponsoring the eco projects, spark interest and collaboration, understanding ecological transition, and so international and national strategies. This will be, let's say, the base for all we are going to treat. Then we will have a sort of a flash networking session, which allows for the different themes that we will see. Oh, this is the location where the meeting will take place. This is something of where we can go for our social lunches. We have a very important archaeological museum if we want, and this is the best part, which is food. So after the event may be shared in two sections. One is Green Project Expo, and the other one is a sort of a 5 minutes, 10 minutes presentation for each project. And then we have some small meeting places to join forces to realize, to start and let's say, start not only projecting, but realizing all these possible projects. And we have many themes that we can, in which we can meet and share our projects, our will, or our collaboration. I think that's enough. Then I will, if you want, I will send Karin and Lori this video so that we can diffuse and see how many of us, of you, let's say, are interested in all this. We are very happy to host you And you'll see that Sardinia has a sort of, let's say, charm because it's our sea places and our natural spots, as you can see, the flamingos and so on. You will see they are in Cagliari. Actually, we 10 minutes drive and we are in between the among the flamingos. This is something more about our folk and our food. And this is basically what may be a possible social program. Just a proposal. Then, of course, we'll see and we'll work on it. I will send you even a short video on Cagliari, on
Oh
what is
my,
our seaside and what is our town and what are the hosting possibilities in Cagliari.
holy
Okay,
mackerel.
I don't want to bore you any longer.
No, no, thank you, Mario. I want just to add something very, very simple. Mario gave us the space, but this is our meeting. So if
Of course.
any one of us want to say something, want to participate, wants to propose, wants to do something different, it's your time to do it. We will be very happy to accommodate the needs of everyone. We will start circulating the details in the next months, weeks and months. So probably it is in October. If someone is coming from abroad, of course, it's extremely welcome. If you need visa, be careful because we cannot provide an invitation as we discovered last year. Sardinia in October is a beautiful place, and if you want to spend part of your vacation in combining it with some interesting Rotarian activities and with some friends, it will be nice. We did it last year and it was very energetic engagement. It was full of everything. And this year it should be better.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness.
just one more thing, since for all the people who comes from the other side of the ocean, of course, we will try to suggest some packages about tourist possibilities around Cagliari here in Sardinia.
I have always wanted to come to Italy. This would be the time, wouldn't it?
Oh, that will be the chance.
Oh my goodness. We'll see. We'll see how my husband's doing then. But oh my gosh, that would be wonderful to meet you guys in person. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, you guys. Yes, definitely send us the information. If you want to put anything in the chat now, just the general stuff about when it is and stuff, that would be great. That would be great. But yes, we will send out more information to everybody. But oh my gosh, that sounds wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to take you off spotlight now. Thank you, both of you, Luca and Mario. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. And Anna Maria, we could meet you. Oh my gosh, this would be wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, let me get Dawn up. Let's see, let's get you spotlit for everybody.
We'll be there.
Yes, Anna, that would be great. Let's get Dawn up and she's going to give us a project teaser. Thank you.
Can I share my screen?
Sorry, Don, we have some co-hosting things where we're making you co-host so you can share. You're so patient. Thank you.
Jason, Luca, and Mario. Oh my God, it looks like would be such a wonderful thing to come to. So see what we can
And
do.
the food. Mm.
Are you able now?
Yeah, I'm able.
Good, good.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on for this project teaser. As environmental, I'll just jump right in because as environmental Rotarians, we know food connects us to nearly every issue we care about. Climate, biodiversity, water, health, food security, pollution, animal welfare, and even world peace. And research increasingly shows that shifting towards a more plant-rich diet and eating is a necessary component and the most powerful action for both human and planetary health. And yet, food is rarely part of the climate conversation. So our club asked this year for Earth Month, could we make climate action joyful, community building, and delicious? Here. So last month, our Rotary Club at Canmore partnered with the nonprofit Vegan Outreach to host their Vegan Chef Challenge, becoming the first Rotary Club in the world to lead one and the first Canadian community to host it, even though it's been done all over the US and recently in Singapore. And I'll be honest, I was nervous. I live in Alberta, by the way, so beef capital of Canada. Would restaurants sign up? Would Rotary members think this was too different? We only needed 10 restaurants, but 14 joined and many more. I mean, everybody we talked to was excited about it. And that's when I realized something important. The fellowship that we have been building for years in our community was already at work. And one of the biggest lessons we learned from this was meaningful environmental action does not have to start from scratch. The Vegan Chef Challenge team brought restaurant outreach, media support, social media assets, marketing tools, prizes, and a proven roadmap to guide us. We simply adapted it to our community. The whole project cost us under $1,000 and could easily have been free, but we chose to pay for the entrance fees for all our restaurants for this first year. So it really felt doable. And for busy Rotary clubs who don't know where to start, that can really, really matter. But something then unexpected happened after we started this process. The response was overwhelmingly positive. And this is from our PR chair's recent presentation to our committee and to our club. One social media comment captured it perfectly. What a kind and beautiful initiative. Thank you for doing this. And that word kind really stayed with me because this wasn't about judgment. It was an invitation to try something new, to support our local restaurants during a slower season, to celebrate chef creativity, and to discover that sustainable food can be joyful and absolutely delicious. I have a great video to show you at the end. The publicity really surprised us. We were able to get on CTV television, CBC radio, newspapers and magazines, and social media posts that normally reached hundreds suddenly exceeded 10,000 views for our club. And even better, at our awards ceremony that we just held yesterday, 15 chefs and guests joined our Rotary meeting, sharing foods, stories, and connection. The room was vibrant and alive and excited, and they felt so honored and they felt so seen, and often they're in the background just cooking away and doing their thing. And so all the chefs have now signed up to do this next year. And I want to share, the flamingos was really interesting. We saw it with Luca and Mario, because at our recent district conference, Louisa Horn, our zone membership lead, encouraged us to be the flamingo. Because she had a picture of a few flamingos, all turned one way, but a few were looking another. And eventually, the flock follows. And her message really stayed with me, that meaningful change often begins with a few people willing to look in a different direction. And maybe Rotary needs more flamingos. And I would say in the Rotary Earth Network and in our eco clubs, that's who we are right now. And then the beautiful part of all this is you don't have to do it alone. The Vegan Chef Challenge already exists as a supported, proven model that clubs can easily adapt. They were so incredibly supportive and guided us every step of the way. And if you'd like, and so we were just so it was such a positive experience and for our whole community, and it's connected us and elevated our club in a way that we never even anticipated, but we had to take that risk. We had to try, and that's what made the difference. And so if you'd like to try that, we're happy to help you support it. And also if you just want, sorry. I'm going to show you a little video first of the challenge, and then we'll go from there. Let me see here. Here we go. So as you can see, it was a very amazing event with incredibly delicious food. But if you don't want to go to that big step quite yet and want to learn about more how beneficial plant-rich eating is, we have our 15-day plant-rich challenge. It's a great starter, and all of us here on our Plant-Rich Diet Task Force are here to help you with many other projects and initiatives that we have in the works. So thank you. And I'll leave you with this. What meaningful step might your club be uniquely positioned to take? One that feels a little bold, deeply hopeful, and aligned with service above self. Sometimes all it takes is one club willing to be the flamingo.
Fantastic, Dawn, fantastic. Thank you so much. I did put the link to the Vegan Chef Challenge in the chat. And I know we had them on, I think, with SREG one time, but they are a wonderful group, and I'm so glad you got to do that. I'm so glad it worked out so well. And I think one of the things that I love the most about that, not only that they helped you so much through it, um, but that it can offer so many different, not just vegan, but international foods. You can go with all different kinds of international. So it just really serves a group like this, and Rotary groups so well. It
Yeah,
really is a great
really
mesh of, perfect.
just keeps unfolding with more and more gifts. For
Yep. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll take you off a spotlight here. And now I get to spotlight Chris. Woohoo! And Taylor. Let's see, what's going, Taylor? Taylor, I'm sorry, I know we've taken a little while longer. Where are you?
No worries. No, this was
Okay.
great.
Yes, it was wonderful, wasn't it?
Some really
Go
great
ahead,
ideas,
Chris.
and that food looked amazing.
Yes.
Sorry, I unmuted myself. Okay. Well, I am thrilled to introduce Taylor today, and I'm so inspired by Dawn's work in Canmore. I can't wait to do that in my community. We're hoping to do that at the beginning of the year. So one of the projects that Dawn alluded to is we want to prepare a monthly meatless meeting toolkit for Rotary clubs. And one of the biggest challenges that they have if they meet at a restaurant or an institution that's serving food is they might have difficulty working with that food service staff to help them, be offering a greener menu. And so we're hoping to use Taylor's presentation today, both video and in written support for clubs as a starting point to say, hey, here are some wonderful resources to share with your food service staff to help you green the menus for your meetings. So Taylor, also, I want to give her a huge thanks because none of us from the Plant Rich Diet Task Force were able to attend the EarthX event recently in person. And Taylor graciously offered to not only be a speaker about plant-rich eating, but she also staffed a booth space and offered up her own materials as well as our Plant Rich Diet Task Force materials. So we are eternally grateful to her for that huge effort.
My pleasure.
So, Taylor is a corporate engagement manager at Greener by Default, which is a nonprofit consultancy that uses behavioral science to help organizations serve more sustainable, inclusive, and healthy food. Before working for Greener by Default, Taylor helped organizations attain green business certification during her time at the San Francisco Department of the Environment. And she also spent 6 years leading the delivery of sponsorship programs and communications at Trellis, which was formerly known as GreenBiz, an events and multimedia company for sustainability professionals. So Taylor is an amazing professional in her own right. She's a wonderful partner for us in our efforts to help people modify their diets in a healthier way. So Taylor, thanks so much for being with us today, and take it away.
Thank you, Chris. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, hi everyone. Well, as Chris mentioned, my name is Taylor and I'm a corporate engagement manager at Greener by Default. I just want to thank Chris and Karen for inviting me to speak. It's really not every day, or truly not every day, that I get to, present to a group of people that are so genuinely passionate about sustainability. So I'm really excited to be here. And I hope I can teach y'all a few things that will help you be even more effective environmental advocates within your daily lives and at your meetings and your jobs as well. So today I'll be discussing how organizations can create low carbon menus for their catered events as well as corporate cafeterias, and for y'all with your Rotary events as well, just by implementing a few behavioral science techniques. So to start, I'll share who GBD is and what we do. We are a nonprofit that empowers institutions with evidence-based consulting and hands-on guidance to serve inclusive, sustainable, and delicious plant-forward menus. And we do all of that while maintaining diners' freedom of choice to eat meat and dairy. And there are a lot of challenges that we are working to solve by advocating for plant-forward menus. This includes the critical need to reduce the carbon footprint of our food systems. The World Resources Institute, for example, has found that without changing diets, agriculture alone could produce enough emissions to consistently surpass 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming. Of course, there's also the issue of poor diets and nutrition in the United States and throughout the world. According to researchers at The Lancet, across all preventable risk factors for disease in the United States, poor diet is now the leading cause of death, associated with more than 500,000 deaths per year. And while these large societal issues are, extremely important to solve on their own, they have also created unique and significant challenges for corporations as well. So in order to stay relevant in today's marketplace, many companies must now meet employees' increasing expectations for meaningful action on climate change and healthy food. There was a recent Deloitte survey of adults that found that about 70% of respondents want their employers to invest in sustainability efforts. And many people are also now considering a company's stance on sustainability before even accepting a job. And then when it comes to health, a study from the American Heart Association and Aramark found that more than 9 in 10 employees are interested in improving the healthfulness of their workday lunch. And this is, of course, especially important for millennial and Gen Z employees. And so the solution that we have found to address all of these challenges is simple yet powerful, and that is serving plant-forward menus and using behavioral science to nudge diners towards more sustainable plant-based options. So in terms of meeting climate expectations, plant-forward menus can be a great solution because they're a really easy way to cut emissions. On average, plant-based meals produce half the emissions of animal-based meals. This is due to the large amount of land required to raise and feed animals, the methane gases that they produce, and the deforestation associated with creating grazing land and feed crops. One example is the Impossible Burger, which is known to produce 89% less emissions than a typical beef burger. In addition, data shows that serving more plant-based food can be much more effective in reducing carbon emissions compared to other sustainability interventions, such as reducing or eliminating single-use plastic, though of course those practices are important for other environmental and social reasons. And so you can see from this chart that switching from beef to veggie on the left in this study resulted in almost a 400% larger decrease in carbon emissions compared to the zero waste initiatives on the right. And for a lot of people and organizations, these stats can be surprising because as a society, we have been focusing for so long on how food is served, but not what food is served, even though the what is by far the larger source of emissions. Now, one of the reasons why people have avoided focusing on what food is served is because food is such a deeply personal and emotional topic, of course. However, the standard American diet with meat and dairy in almost every dish is really not an inclusive way to serve food. Serving plant-forward menus is much more inclusive of the 30 to 50 million Americans and many others across the world who are lactose intolerant. Of Buddhists, Hindus, Rastafarians, and other religious populations who either may be vegetarian or don't eat certain animal products. It's also more inclusive of the more than half of all Americans who are trying to eat less red meat for health reasons. And then lastly, it's more inclusive of communities of color who, at least in America, are 3 times more likely to identify as vegetarian. And so plant-forward menus can also provide pretty significant health benefits. Studies have found that having a higher adherence to a plant-based diet can result in a 31% lower risk of cardiovascular disease, a 25% lower risk of ischemic heart disease, 29% lower risk of pancreatic cancer, and a 23% lower risk of type 2 diabetes. And then lastly, plant-forward menus can also present potential cost savings, especially when implemented at corporate cafeterias or dining halls. There was a university that shared their data with us, and they operate a dining hall that's plant-based by default. And after they compared it with a traditional dining hall on campus, they found that the plant-based default one had lower food and labor costs, about 9% lower labor costs or lower food costs and 5% lower labor costs. All right, now I'll share the behavioral science strategies that GBD uses to help organizations, and these are strategies y'all can use as well for your events in Rotary to serve more plant-forward menus. So here are our top strategies. This includes plant-based defaults, climate-friendly ratios, subtle substitutions, and many others. I won't be able to cover all of them, but in the next few slides, I'll cover quite a few. And if you're interested in learning more, I definitely encourage y'all to check out our website, greenerbydefault.org. Okay, so starting with the first strategy, plant-based defaults, this is one of our most effective techniques, and the core concept of it is to serve a plant-based meal by default, and then you give people the choice to opt into meat and dairy. So instead of meat and dairy being the default and having diners ask for a special vegan meal, we're simply flipping it around and having the vegan meal be the default and listing the meat as a secondary option or as an add-on. And so this way, the more sustainable, inclusive, and healthy option is the default, and diners still have complete freedom of choice to eat what they want. And the reason we focus so much on this strategy, hence our name, Greener by Default, is because studies show that people are more than 7 times more likely to order a plant-based meal from a menu that's plant-based by default compared to a traditional menu. And there's also a lot of different food service environments where we can apply this strategy to. So for example, if people are RSVPing to an event, say one of your Rotary Club events, it can be a really clean switch. You would just state in the registration form that the food you're going to be serving is plant-based by default, and then you offer a box to check to either stick with that default and another box to check to switch to an animal-based meal. The next strategy is climate-friendly ratios, which we recommend using when it's not possible to serve a plant-based meal by default. This generally ends up being our second most effective strategy. And what it does is it encourages offering 2 plant-based options for every animal-based option. A recent study found that when menus shift from having 2/3 meat options to 2/3 veg options, selection of the veg meals can increase by more than 50%. And the reason we see this happen is because usually when there's only one plant-based option in a buffet, for example, or on a menu, omnivores often perceive it as, the special option that's just there for vegans or vegetarians. But once we shift the ratios and provide a majority or a plethora of plant-based options, we then normalize eating plant-based and shift the decision-making process. Then people make their decision based on sight and smell rather than whether they identify as vegan or vegetarian. So, for example, instead of just offering, a meat patty and an impossible patty at your cafeteria grill station or at for a restaurant, consider adding a second plant-based option, such as a house-made chickpea or a veggie patty. Subtle substitutions is another easy and effective strategy, and this one focuses on serving plant-based condiments, milks, desserts, and breads by default. And this can be a great way to ensure that your menu is inclusive because it meets the needs of those with allergies and dietary restrictions who otherwise might be left without creamer for their coffee or butter for their bread, for example. Plus, nowadays, the plant-based alternatives for these types of products are so good that people usually don't notice when you swap them out. And they can also be cheaper and, of course, more sustainable than the animal-based versions. So one example is there was a school district in Colorado that replaced the eggs and milk in all of their baked goods with plant-based ingredients such as oil, applesauce, and flax seeds. And by doing that, they were able to save more than $10,000 annually and as much carbon as driving over 50,000 miles. The next strategy we have here is called Tasty Titles, and this one encourages labeling plant-based dishes with names that focus on flavors and ingredients rather than using terms like vegan, healthy, or meatless. And the idea behind this is that people generally don't like to be reminded of what they are missing out on by using those types of words. And some people also, unfortunately, associate vegan food with food that's tasteless and boring, even though we all know that's not the case. So, for example, while many people might not want to eat a meatless or a vegan pasta, they are much more likely to want to eat a rosemary lemon chickpea pasta. The World Resources Institute found that by using this type of approach, you can increase sales of plant-based items by up to 76%. And in addition, we also worked with a software company, and after seeing this presentation, they ended up changing the name of what was once called their vegetarian hummus wrap to a roasted red pepper avocado hummus wrap, and they saw their sales immediately increase. And then lastly, I want to mention, although we don't recommend including vegan in the title, of course, it's still important to share dietary information with diners. So we do recommend having at least a small V in parentheses, as you can see here on the slide, or a leaf at the end of the title so that people who want to make sure it's vegan for dietary reasons can do so. Okay, and then the final strategy I'll cover today is called meat reduction. And this one really works well in tandem with the others. And it focuses on reducing the portion size of meat in dishes that do contain animal protein. So this can be as simple as reducing the scoop size. There was a study at Stanford University that found that they could reduce the amount of meat in burritos by 25% without having any negative effect on diner satisfaction. It is important to note, however, that once the scoop size was reduced by 50%, then people started requesting 2 scoops of meat and it negated the intervention. So the trick is to find a happy medium. Meat reduction can also involve blending animal and plant-based proteins, such as serving blended mushroom and beef burgers, or a spaghetti bolognese with a blend of beef, mushrooms, and walnuts. And you can also cut down on the amount of meat served by using smaller bowls and serving utensils such as tongs and smaller spoons. And you can use that same strategy for reducing consumption of dairy items as well. So instead of having, large bowls of cheese and sour cream in a buffet line, for example, you can use small bowls and place them at the end of the line with the plant-based options towards the front. All right, now let's see what happens when these strategies are put to the test. So in 2024, Greener by Default partnered with Trellis to apply some of these behavioral science techniques to their event menus. This includes those served at their Green Biz 24 event and a few others. And the main strategy that we used was climate-friendly ratios, which we achieved by serving a majority of plant-based options at their buffets. So for one of the breakfasts, for example, we served blue corn pancakes, breakfast enchiladas, home fries, and scrambled eggs, with the first three of those options being plant-based. We also used tasty titles for their plant-based dishes by replacing the word vegan with more appetizing descriptors. So for example, changing vegan lemon cake to lemon olive oil cake. And then lastly, we use subtle substitutions by switching dairy butter with vegan butter for bread rolls and substituting dairy salad dressings with plant-based vinaigrettes. And so as a result of implementing those strategies, we were able to help them save over 25,000 kilograms of carbon emissions across those events, which is the equivalent to charging over 2 million smartphones or driving 63,000 miles, which is more than twice the circumference of the Earth. Fun fact. Okay, and then another example of is when we partnered with LinkedIn to implement our climate-friendly ratio strategy and oat milk default at their corporate cafeteria in San Francisco. So during this pilot, we focused on shifting from primarily meat-based entrees to primarily plant-based entrees across their meal stations at the cafeteria, and we also helped them serve oat milk by default at their coffee bar. And so that resulted in a 50% reduction in their food-related carbon emissions, which is the equivalent to driving 35,000 miles. And we also reduced the amount of dairy milk served from 70% to just 18%, and decreased the amount of meat served per person by 50%. And better yet, this was all achieved without having any negative effect on diner satisfaction. And then here's some other organizations that we have worked with in the past. This includes Harvard, the Good Eating Co., the Sustainable Purchasing Leadership Council, and others. And so in conclusion, the work that we've done at Greener by Default and the work that our partners have done show that there are many simple behavioral science strategies that organizations and you all can use to drastically reduce your carbon footprint while also improving the health and inclusivity of their menus. So I hope some of y'all will try these strategies out when you're planning your next event, or if you are, employed at a company, you can use this for your company employee events. And then if you have a corporate cafeteria at the company, you can also, share our strategies with them and advocate for more sustainable plant-forward menus. So if you're interested in learning more, you can visit our website, greenerbydefault.org. And I've also included my email here, taylor@greenerbydefault.org, in case any of y'all are interested or have questions on using any of these strategies. Definitely feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm happy to provide support in shaping more sustainable menus. So that's it for me. I have this itty bitty resources or sources slide, and I'm happy to share this afterwards in case any of y'all would like to see some of the research and the studies behind some of the stats that I shared today. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you again so much for having me. It's always a pleasure hanging out or just talking with Chris and the team, and you all are just, again, so genuinely passionate about sustainability. I'm so happy to be here, and yeah, I'll pass it back to Karen, I believe.
Taylor, you are, oh my gosh. Chris and Dawn, you are absolutely right. She is like fantastic. They
Thank
bring
you.
us the best speakers. Chris and Dawn always bring us the best speakers. Yes, fantastic, Taylor. I'm going to let Najodi jump in here real quick. Actually, let me spotlight you one more time, real quick, for something special for you. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Najodi, spotlight, and Taylor. Taylor again.
Yeah.
Is my screen is visible?
Yes, looks good, Najodi.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Taylor, for your excellent presentation. And we all learned many things from you. And on behalf of each and every participant over here, we are very much happy and very thankful you accepted our invitation. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Karen, Laurie, Claudia, and Christopher Stein, and everyone in recognition of, and thank you, Luca. Thank you so much for this opportunity. In recognition of your generous contribution as a guest speaker at Earth Talks, a weekly global dialogue hosted by Rotary Earth Network Club. So, we are sincerely appreciating your contribution and we want you to join our meeting and the same day, same time, but link will be shared all the times. And we really want to see you in our meetings and we will follow whatever you have inspired and guided us. So our next meeting, let us go ahead with our next meeting will be Jeff Mackey. And the next presentation is, 1 second, my slide, yeah. So next presentation is again another excellent session on carbon and climate literacy from boardroom to the schoolroom. Excellent. I'm very much interested to go ahead with this session. And I will share the link into the chat. Whoever want to register, please register now also. And anyhow, we are going to circulate once again. And this is our, Sky Bridge project. So this link also I will share into the chat and please register for this. And this is another excellent project and Chris is taking care, Karen, Laurie and everyone. Thank you. You all are our family and we are always glad to, see and receive whatever the things you want to do or you want to suggest. We will definitely want to go ahead with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Najodi. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, Taylor, we'll follow up. We're going to follow up with you and get you a bunch of information. And yeah, so
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you again for the certificate. That's so nice of you guys. And yeah, I'd love to join future meetings as
Yeah,
well.
it will take
Great
some
group.
time, but we will share this certificate with your email because Laurie is going to work on the blog and Karen is going to work on other document and I'll
Lori does it. Lori does it all.
Yeah,
She
Laurie
is.
does.
Oh my gosh, she does it all.
So we all collect all the documentation and everything. It will take time, but we will receive the details in one email. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Najodi. There are a ton of comments today. If you want to save this chat, you can always save this on your computer. Lots of incredible presentations, Taylor. There are a lot of questions in the chat. If anybody has a question now, you're welcome to raise your hand. I think we'll probably send this chat maybe, Lori, to Taylor if she maybe wants to follow up too with some of these guys. Because there's a lot of neat comments. I really took away the shifting ratios of that meat to veggie proportion. That was great. That's a great idea. And yeah, that's a great idea. So that's somebody had asked, is there a way to make it more palatable to the rotary? Yeah, I love that use of that word for this. But doing something like that, just serving, 2/3 on your plate of veggie, and just a little bit of meat. That's a great way to be shifting the
Yeah,
whole.
yeah, it doesn't have to,
Yeah,
be the whole menu,
right.
especially, if we want to be inclusive of people who aren't necessarily there yet. And
Yeah,
it really helps, not be alienating and just again is welcoming to Dawn's point of just, creating a joyful experience and a really inviting and welcoming experience. So
yeah.
yeah, definitely want
Dawn,
to
go
and
go
then
go ahead. Dawn's got a
oh,
question
go ahead,
or
yeah.
got a hand up, and Raj there too. Good.
Taylor was saying, when Project Drawdown did their, most impactful individual action any of us can take, at the very top is plant-rich diets. And that is
Oh,
only assuming 50 to 70% of us do plant-rich. And that's not fully vegan, fully whatever. So every single meal makes a difference. That's the key. And we need to normalize that this food is also so delicious and so good for you. And so we're nature, nature's us. What's good for us is good for the planet. You know?
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
well
Yeah,
said.
I love that. Yeah, I really so I grew up on a typical American diet with meat and dairy, and I didn't start transitioning into vegetarian and veganism until I was in college. And yeah, I mean it really does take a little bit of time, or it depends on who the person, of course. Some people can go cold turkey and just completely switch overnight. But yeah, it definitely took me a little bit of time, but I learned that it really is one of the most impactful things that we as individuals can do to reduce our own environmental footprint, and for organizations and events, our collective footprint as well. So it's very, very impactful.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Raj, go ahead.
It's an excellent presentation. I want to share two thoughts. One is the diet is developed at different places as per the climatic and the geographical conditions. In India, in southern India, the rice is the staple food. If you go to northern India, wheat is the staple food. Over a century, the diet has been developed. Number one, and those diet keep them healthy and the fit to suit to the climatic condition. It's very difficult to change the diet. Number one. Number two, I'm a purely vegetarian. So whatever you say, I do it. So I'm a pure 100% vegetarian. One thing I want to suggest, you can add the 26% of the carbon dioxide emission come from the food. We are not using the whole fruit we are not utilizing the 100% fruit. Certain part of the fruit we throw away, maybe food or the fruit or vegetables. Can we promote the concept further to use that remaining, for example, the stem of the vegetables? Can we use the stems? If you take out the root, stem can be used. Entire fruit can be used. Mango, can we remove the peel? Shall we allow? Don't remove the peel and use it. Make the cutlet of the peel. The many things can be done. In fact, let me tell you one of the dish. Being a vegetarian, let me share the dish I developed. I developed one cutlet which is made out of the all peel, the peel of the cucumber, peel of the all of it. I take the all peel, grind in the mixer, add something into it, and make the cutlet out of it. So since I am a purely vegetarian, I make my own recipe. Can we promote this? Besides using the vegetable base, can we promote whole fruit, full utilization, vegetable and the fruit utilization? That's my suggestion to you.
I love that. Yeah, that's great. We actually have a fact sheet, a one pager talking about the benefits uh, of serving more plant-forward menus and how that relates to reducing food waste in the food industry as well. Because as you mentioned, yeah, a lot of the food of vegetables, the roots, etc., does go to waste. And overall, also as an industry, what we see is that the animal agriculture industry is quite a bit more wasteful than growing fruits and vegetables, because there actually is a larger percentage of animals that aren't, parts of the animal that aren't used, aren't consumed compared to vegetables. And in addition, in order to raise animals, there are a lot more, resources like water, land, energy that goes into that compared to growing vegetables and fruit. So and grains and whatnot. So yeah, we try to share that fact sheet on the relation to food waste and general waste of the different industries where we can. But that's a great reminder, and yeah, completely agree with you. And thanks for sharing that with everyone.
Thank you.
I did for the a big maze, a canteen which served the food to the almost 1,000 students, and we reduced their waste almost by 50% by using the whole food utilization, whole fruit or whole vegetable utilization.
That's great.
Yeah, good job. Thank you, Raj. Great answer too, Taylor. Thank you. Go ahead, Anna. Anna Maria.
I have only one, not question, consideration to say. There is one thing missed. You didn't say vegetables and fruits must be seasonal. Now we eat cherry at Christmas time. We have zucchini grown up in a special house because we want zucchini all the year long, and so on. So I think the only mistake, not mistake, the only thing you could add, try to have the real seasonal fruits and vegetables. If not, they will be spoiled by vitamins and so on. This is the only thing I consider. But your presentation was wonderful. This, you must add this one only for my idea. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. I also, yeah, completely resonate with that. And that is definitely, sourcing local ingredients and using seasonal ingredients to whatever region the organization or the client is part of is really important for the environment and other, community, social, environmental reasons. So yeah, completely agree with that. As an organization, we primarily focus and our primary mission is about the swap from meat to veggie to plant-forward menus. So we sort of see that as a definitely related, interconnected issue. But we try to make it easy for our clients to focus on, one of the biggest impacts and one of the biggest ways that they can reduce their carbon footprint of meals, which is switching from beef to veggie or from animal-based to more plant-forward menus. But that's definitely a very important aspect of it as well.
Thank you. Great question. Great answer. Thank you. Chris, go ahead. And then I want to see if Luca, you're on mute. Then I want to see if Luca wants, if you have anything to comment or say to close this, closing out.
Wait, super quick, a local expert was telling us on sustainability that it matter for climate-wise, it matters more what you eat rather than where it comes from. That the climate footprint of eating meat and dairy is bigger than if you're eating, vegetables that have been shipped from overseas or whatever. So that was a big aha. So
Yeah, studies show, I think it's something like well, not unfortunately, but surprisingly, only about 6% or so of the total carbon emissions produced from growing fruits and vegetables and whatnot actually comes from uh, travel. So like how far um, you're having those products shipped and whatnot. So like I mentioned, however, there are other social and environmental reasons why it is important to advocate for sourcing locally and buying seasonal ingredients. But yeah, surprisingly, at least when it comes to the impact on carbon emissions, it is only about 6%. So one of the biggest things that you can do to reduce the carbon footprint is looking at, again, yeah, what type of food you're providing rather than what it's being held in, whether it's like a plastic plate or whatnot. But again, yeah, lots of different factors that go into this and into the overall sustainability of menus and food service, and all of them are important for different reasons.
Yeah, thank you. Luca, did you have anything? Did you want to comment or did you have any questions or anything? I know we're co-hosting, so I want to include you in here.
Not a real question. It's more a personal experience because I work around 30 years in an international organization, and we have the canteen, and everyone was using the canteen, and there was the choice of meat, fish, and vegetarian. And sometimes there was an Italian corner with a guy that was making Italian food. And when he was making spaghetti with a tomato sauce, there was always a long queue. And nobody realized that they were eating vegetarian. So I think that is more a cultural question or a way of presenting good choices. Then people will, if they like the food, they will take it. So
So
for
true.
me, it's quite complicated coming from a Mediterranean area where most sometimes we eat vegetarian without even realizing it. So it's some of these questions or consideration are not part of my cultural background, let's say.
It's great to have your perspective and all of our, that's one of the things I love about Rotary and International, those different perspectives about cultural differences. I'm sorry, Taylor, you should probably comment on that too. Sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely respect, all the different cultures out there. And yeah, I mean, I think there's, everyone as individuals within different cultures too, has a different level of, yeah, just understanding of like even what plant-based is and how that compares to vegetarian and whatnot. So we definitely try to meet clients and different people where they're at in their understanding and their how comfortable they are trying plant-based foods, which is definitely why we want to make sure there's still at least one or two meat and dairy-based options available, to truly be inclusive and yeah, again, just to be to invite people to at least try plant-based options maybe for the first time.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I know I just see. And yes, Doug has his hand raised. Taylor's got to hop off for a minute. Doug, do you need Taylor on or is this a comment?
Just a comment. No, I just wanted to thank Taylor for a great presentation.
Yes.
But Don mentioned Project Drawdown, and Drawdown's two top initiatives that you can do to reduce your carbon footprint are right behind plant-rich diet is food waste. And one of the advantages of eating more plant-based foods is that you can also compost those. And what we're doing now in terms of before we compost, especially if you're eating organic, we're saving the vegetable scraps in our freezer, and then when we get a big batch, make a pot of vegetable broth. So you're eliminating buying more vegetable broth from the store, and it really actually tastes much better. And then you can compost after that. So
Fantastic. That's a great idea. I see Lori, 2 thumbs up for that. So, yeah.
And then you get to give them to the chickens, and then the chickens eat it up and they turn it up into plant food and eggs.
Yeah. All right. I see we're at the top of the hour. I don't know if you can stay on, if anybody wants to chat and stay on, but I know people have to leave too. So I just want to say thank you for coming to the meeting. We could probably stop the recording, Lori. And
Sure. Hi,
yeah.
Rasha. Sorry.
And I know I saw a couple people come in right at the top of the new hour. We
Hi,
will
Lori.
have like